Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. You can see Bugsy Malone in the background. She's got a limp this morning. Don't know what's happened. We're going to take her home and abandon the walk and put a bandage on it or something. Apart from that, she's doing good things. I hope you are too. Please, guys, do me a favour, but only if you like the content, then please like the video. Don't want none of that freebie like stuff. Actually, I don't mind, but I prefer it if you actually liked the video. Let me see if I can deliver a good one for you. Hit the subscribe button as well whilst you're at it if you haven't already. Join the near 19,000 Tottenham fans or others that have gone before. Welcome back to them. Welcome to the new. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And it's another transfer news, views and clues. And this is a weird one for me, but it's everywhere this morning. It's absolutely everywhere. Tottenham are interested, sending scouts, and are pursuing Turkish left winger Akturkoglu. Kerim Akturkoglu. They call him Harry Potter because when he celebrates, he does the, I don't know, whatever you call it, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but he does the magic wand stuff. Look, before we get into the player specifically, gotta say I'm a little bit weirded out by this naming convention stuff that we're doing at the moment. Feels like there's this theme where, because Postecoglou is kind of like got the Midas touch right now, everything he touches turns to gold. We're looking for anything that resembles Postecoglou and bringing them into the club, or potentially bringing them into the club. We start off with Big Ange, now we got Big Lange, data scientist, who, by the way, I don't know if my video about him came across like I was anti the idea. I felt like when I watched it back, it came across pretty like humdrum. That wasn't really the take. I don't know whether he's going to be great or not. I do think it's important, if we're going to go down the data science path, then it's good to get a specialist in that regard, and perhaps, you know, Paratici isn't a specialist in that regard. So I'm all for it, as long as that everyone's got clearly defined roles and responsibilities, and that the synergies can work rather than the other scenario playing out, which is what I did speak about, which is too many cooks spoil the broth. Anyway, so you start off with Big Ange, now you got Big Lange, then you got Postecoglou, and now you got Akturkoglu. I don't know. Are we just going for anything that resembles his name and thinking that we'll get the same output? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's look at the player. 25 years old, left winger. He has done very well this season. I wasn't too familiar with him before this season. I wasn't that familiar with him before his performance against Manchester United in the Champions League. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an expert, but I have done my due diligence and looked him up, looked up his stats, looked up his Y-Scout, his everything kind of plays to figure out if I like him or not. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure. Here's the stats though. In, 15 games I think this season. 15 games, he's got 12 goal contributions. 7 assists and 5 goals. In the Champions League qualifiers and the Turkish League, the Superliga. Very stocky player. I don't think he's blessed with unbelievable pace, but he's kind of short. He's 1.71 m, or that's about 5'8", I think, in old money. And he's, like I say, just very stockily built. He comes across to me as someone who can almost run through players, but he also has a brilliant technical quick feet that he's very fond of doing drag backs and flicks and, you know, like reverse heel, back heel passes, all that sort of stuff. He's very, very fond of those things. He's very clever with them too. But I find that most players can't dispossess him as easily as they could someone lighter, because in a bodyweight contest, he's gonna come across to me like he's gonna win those things because he's just super strong and stocky and that low centre of gravity. Like I say, he doesn't look like he's got massive amounts of pace though, but he can still run with the ball with consummate ease. And what I think crucially he can do, from what I've seen of him, is he can pick a pass, he can look up during the play and figure out where the ball needs to go and then get it there. He's got a good foot on him, he can shoot from distance, he puts the balls in. I think 3 of his goals have been from the edge of the box and absolute screamers. He's got a free kick on him, a lovely right foot, I think he's two-footed. I think it's fair to say he's two-footed because he takes his free kicks from the left-hand side with the right foot, curls them in, but he can also get to the byline and whip the ball back with his left. I think he offers variety, and I think he's interesting. He is interesting. But listen, I hadn't heard of him before. Like I say, this season, I barely heard of him even this season before the Champions League game, where I think he scored the second goal for Galatasaray in that game. And look, his form and stats are doing well. Now, I don't know whether or not this is part of the kind of the stat system, the data system, identifying him as a candidate. I don't even know if there's any truth to the rumours, but they are, like I say, it's everywhere this morning. Everyone's picking and talking about it. And maybe, just maybe, it's more of like the fact that everyone knows that Tottenham are probably looking for a left winger, and the fact that Tottenham have got a little bit of recent history with regards working with Galatasaray. You know, we have sold Davinson Sanchez, the creative player we didn't know we had. And also, of course, we've loaned Tanguy Ndombele to Galatasaray. So it looks like the relationship might be somewhat strong enough to forge a story. Obviously, we've been linked with Victor Nelson for a long time as well. So there's this constant communication in the media between Tottenham and Galatasaray. And obviously, you can put two and two together and think that if there is an outstanding player who's currently, crunching some really great numbers in a position that Tottenham need to strengthen in, then that just might be the kind of the nuts and bolts of the story. But it also could be that he has been identified from the data. But then I question whether or not the data is that deep. If we just always seem to be linked with players who happen to be smashing it out of the park with regards their scoring ability for forwards. That's not particularly in-depth analysis, is it? We were linked with that guy Garassi from Stuttgart last week. Again, that was data-led, was it? It's just because he scored 10 goals in 10 games. I'm not sure. So, but anyway, look, interesting player. Like I say, very tricky, very clever, good two-footed player. Doesn't have the blessed with pace, but can take a player on, and obviously is tricky. I personally think that there are about 4 or 5 other more interesting players in that left wing spot that we can go after, but I'm not going to talk about all of them right now. I've spoken about one of them, Armand Loriente from Sassuolo. I really like this guy, and there's a couple other players that I want to be doing. I'm going to do a video on it, I think today, try and get it out for you tomorrow or maybe Saturday, where a bit more data sort of based, a little bit more insights into the players, and hopefully a cooler sort of video edit. There's a player from Bruges whose name right now escapes me. I haven't had my coffee this morning, and I think he looks like a real talent as well, but a lot of players are after him. So we'll find out whether or not there's any truth to this story later, but I'm just updating you. I don't really know what else to say about him, guys. Like I say, he scores a lot of goals. The goals are really great looking finishes, but don't know enough about him to go for more detail. So I'll leave it there, guys, but like I say, keep an eye out in a couple of days' time for the top 5 left winger options that Tottenham can target in January or in the summer, and maybe keep an eye out for a live stream either tonight or tomorrow afternoon. Like, subscribe and comment, guys, and as always, bye bye.